So the question about money is that I wasn't told by Laura either that where.
Because of the financial control, it's very slow. Sometimes not enough staff.
We have passed all the levels for financial resource, so it's not. My perception at least of these activities, it's a long time ago that was the last moment for control against everything was approved on the whole level. And it's more or less kind of technical thing, just transfer the money.
Yeah. So the time has fallen. It's 1:30, but I guess Riga is also university. slowly in an Estonian manner, that you can grab coffee, you can grab some pirozhenoye, however they are really called in English, and there was something more. So feel very comfortable. And as you can see, we are not a huge crowd, and thank you for coming, all of you. Therefore, I believe we can manage quite in a friendly manner and in a kind of intimate atmosphere. So all questions and answers and discussions are more than welcome. You see also some of the cameras in the room. These are not meant to scare you. We are not going to be in the evening news, probably. But these are for the reason because some of the companies who couldn't attend, but they really wanted that the message would be delivered to them. And then we decided that instead of doing like a storytelling mode, I kind of try to remember everything what I hear and see and then give it forward. Instead, we are going to record them and publish them later on Tartu Science Park YouTube. And if you are feeling especially masochistic like I am sometimes doing, then you can go and watch your own speeches afterwards. I promise you, it's absolutely horrible experience in my experience. I've done few video trainings in my life. They have never ended well for me. So, but that's a good news. You can't do worse as I'm doing. So everything else after that comes really in a nice and positive manner. But why we have invited you here today is because we went to Asia a few times and we took some companies there. And we thought that maybe somebody else is interested as well to hear about our experiences, our lessons, our observations. And perhaps somebody wants to go there in future again, or perhaps don't want to go after our presentation. And that's why we are here, to share our experiences and see whether the faraway markets are really far away, whether there are some kind of myths, legends, maybe some items which need to be demystified, and maybe something that can be brought closer to our markets. My name is Vaido. I'm coming from Tartu Science Park, from Estonia. And we were a lead partner in a project called Hiadex. The full name is very, very long. And even though the project has ended, I still haven't managed to memorize it properly. But it goes something like that high value added projects to export, like high value added export. And this is somehow how it compiles together the Hiadex. But the project itself, and I'm going to my presentation now, began as all beautiful projects go with the starting of nice plans. And in our case, the plans started actually already several years back. I dug into my Outlook archives yesterday, tried to find the first mentioning of the project. And the first mentioning I found was summer 2015. And today we are almost at 2019. So it was quite some time back. And this shows that some developments will take time even in the Baltic region, not only in Asia where everything goes slowly. And the initial idea came actually from Latvian industry, who thought that Chinese market is a very attractive market, huge market, let's go to China. Well, idea itself sounded viable. Let's go to China, let's take our products and services to China. And the availability of Estonia-Latvia program measures was available at that time as well, as it is today. And we will hear later today a speech from Estonia-Latvia Secretariat about the opportunities for companies. And we decided that opportunistic people as we are, let's grab the opportunity, let's take somebody else's money and make some things happen. And still the plan was to go to China. After 1 year later, we had still the plans to go to China. However, our kind of budget estimations were a little bit reduced. So the initial idea was to go to China and sell our goods and to do everything for 1 million euros. We ended up, long story short, around 340K. And the spring 2017 was the final date when the project was approved. And in May we started. So these were the plans and the industry-related plans. And then we made more plans and more promises how we are going to go there. initial beautiful plan was to go by the book, that we do the market research, we kind of investigate what are the target segments, what are the target industries, what are the wholesalers, retailers. We do all the book stuff at first. Then we prepare the promotional materials, and then we go to the trade fairs. There is a guy, a German guy, long dead by now, and he has said something about the battle plans, that no battle plan survives the first contact with the enemy. The modification of that is that no business plan survives the first contact with the customer. The project world modification of that is that no project survives the contact with the reality. So if you remember this beautiful plans stuff that was in the previous slide, that we are going to do all the stuff by the book, and then we are going to go to the trade fairs in May 2018. This is beautiful me in September 2017 in Singapore. If some of the people who have sharper eyes and are able to identify the name and the country there and remember what I told in the beginning from where I am, there is already the first lesson dawning that, well, Estonia, Latvia, Baltic states, they are not really well known in that part of the world. Some people do know where we are located, but they are relatively few. Most of the times we found out that some keywords work really well. Santa Claus seems to be working, London seems to be working, and Putin and, let's say, four-legged brown animals are also working, which, since we are recording, we are not going to say who they are, but you can take a guess who they are. So kind of the first lesson for me was there that even though I knew it, that nobody probably knows from where we are coming. The reality was, yes, nobody really knows from where you are coming. That either just say that you are coming from Europe, which is plus minus decent size entity, or West. West is also actually good enough. Or you can have a tablet with Google Maps and show this triangle or somewhere that's this neighborhood. Because I had quite many conversations which started that, okay, from where you are, people are polite, they're asking, yes, Estonia, okay. Nobody exactly says that they don't know where it is. Then you say the size about it, like 1.3 million. Ah, yes, I also grew up in a city district as big as that. So this gives you the kind of sense of the scales, what are there and what we are facing. So the Danes actually, with whom I met, not in Singapore or Malaysia, but a few times before in Europe, said that at some point you have to swallow your pride. You have to understand that if somebody says that Denmark is the capital of Stockholm, then you just nod and say that, yes, great, that this is pretty accurate. And this is the picture of the first, of our first days in the trade fair in Singapore, in Vitafoods Asia. Can anybody tell me what's wrong in this picture? As the true dutiful Estonians and Latvians as we are, we want to offer as much as possible with as little resources invested as possible. So we had kind of a pre-allocated budget, which enabled us, I think it was 12 or 14 square meter booth, and we stuffed it full with everything. So we had around 8 companies, 8 organizations, 20, 30 different products. And next to us, I don't remember whether it was Malaysian or Indonesian booth, which was like 200 square meters, one company like our booth with every product in a separate box. So simplicity, that our kind of evolution of a message was that we are small, and our assumption going to the project was that we are small, Estonia, Latvia are small, we need to go together, we need to look bigger. Nothing wrong with that assumption. I still think that that's a good and valuable idea, but we can't really overcrowd or over-complicate our message, that what are our products, because most of the time in Singapore, I was kind of had to explain that no, Baltic Life Sciences is not a single company and we are not offering all these products under one company. And then people didn't understand why we have 6 companies packed into such small area and why they are offering so different products. So we fixed that when we went to Malaysia and back to Singapore, but this was a kind of one of the cliche messages already that either the KISS methodology, keep it simple, stupid, or more polite, that less is more. That you don't need to pack everything into your message. The same category, the same idea came out in Malaysia in 2018. This year, still in springtime, was the clarity part. And here I would say that this particular word, probiotics, just one single word, was quite enough to catch an attention of many visitors and partners there who were walking there. They came in and like the first intro sentence was that, I saw that you are dealing with probiotics. Tell me more. So just one keyword is sometimes enough to get the right audience to talk to you. That, remembering our first picture, you don't need to have too many messages out there. If you are managing to design and package it well, you can do it. But this simple probiotics word actually got a lot of traction in Malaysia. Then this is the tablet where we showed the map afterwards, why I said that Google Maps on the tablet works quite well too. This guy is Andre's colleague. Andre will talk later from BioCC. The standard approach for us was that, first of all, when the nicest pleasantries and polite words were exchanged, you got the question that, okay, what are you doing? And then you said that, okay, I'm doing this and that, and our company is doing this and that. Fine. And then came the question that, but how do you prove that your product or service does what you say it does? Because we are modest people in this region of the world, and we kind of are used to that most people tell the truth. Some people still lie, but most of the people tell truth, and they don't oversell the product. In that region, many do oversell the product or the service, and they really give all the kind of beautiful qualities and quantities that are able to do. And in our case, or BioCC's case, they had some clinical trials done, and here actually the scales didn't work in our disadvantage. When you said that, yes, we have done 700 clinical trials, which is not a huge number, it was sufficient. Nobody really started to say that so little or so much. Actually, if you have something that can prove, that can give you credibility, good enough. Since I'm a public servant, or not exactly civil servant, but I'm working for a public institution, I will leave the business part and the real markets and entrepreneurship part to the people who are coming after me and are far more competent. Also, one of the things which I learned in Singapore and Malaysia is that I know nothing of marketing and product development anymore. I have studied marketing for 4 or 5 years. I've worked at the manufacturing industry in 8 years, and I thought I didn't felt unconfident. I went there, I felt that, okay, I do know something. I went there, I understood that I know nothing anymore. That opportunities that are available in product development and everywhere, they are absolutely intense and impressive. But I did make few impressions and few observations. And one of the observations was about dress code, which actually is important there sometimes, because when we were in Malaysia in May this month, the temperature was, of course, mild 35 degrees, 36 degrees, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right. So a few of our guys came in with shorts and sandals, and they weren't let into the venue because the dress code demanded that you are dressed like this, and they followed it strictly. So, and even if it was Sunday and we just wanted to make the preparationary work, we weren't even in the fair itself. Also, just to set up the booth, you had to do it. You had to be dressed properly. I managed to go through, I think, 6 or 7 shirts per day by that time. It was a pretty demanding experience. But please do mind that. really classical, like chess, like your opening moves, counter moves, opening moves, counter moves is you first get to talk to a pawn, like guy like me. He asks the mandatory questions. Then by half sentence, if not even the boss man, or let's say maybe the boss man or boss woman is with you, he will cut off the pawn, the me, and says that, okay, seems that these guys are legit, they mean business, now I'm going to talk. Which means you have to get through the first layer, you have to get through the gatekeeper. And then afterwards, you can talk serious business. And then the first guy with whom you might have talked and really established a connection, he's just standing in the back row and being quiet all the time. He will not speak again. That's it. So kind of, again, we know that it's standard approach, standard behavior there, that you have to go through this hierarchy layer. But seeing it in reality and encounter after encounter or meeting after meeting, it gets funny. But it works that way. Why I actually wrote here the boss man or boss woman is that, I don't know, I'm an endangered species. I'm a white middle-aged male getting bold soon. But I didn't notice any kind of misleading or disadvantages behavior regarding women. That we had quite many female entrepreneurs with us, and they were taken as seriously, and I didn't see kind of any biased attitude towards them. However, I did not see any boss woman either from the Asian side. That all the boss men were boss men. Maybe there are boss women behind there. Maybe I was just unlucky to meet them, but the boss men were boss men. Just an observation. China, observation number 3. I'm just for a moment checking how I'm doing with the time. I still have a few minutes, good. China is a subject which should be treated carefully, is my observation. In Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia in our, let's say, context consists of Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, and they consider South Korea also in there. Everybody has an opinion about China, about Chinese products, about Chinese behavior, and they are from one wall to another wall. So quite often those opinions are not the most positive ones. So this is something to consider and something to, as I'm saying, tread carefully in the topic of China. One of my favorite ones. Maybe some people manage to survive it easier. The time difference between Estonia and Latvia and then Singapore and Malaysia is not big. It's only 5 hours. So it seems that 5 hours, not so bad, is it? For me personally, it was quite difficult because my poor body didn't understand what he has done to me, that I'm punishing him that way. Because at 2:30 in the middle of the night, I forced him to eat breakfast, which he is kind of not used to do, even though I'm capable of eating at all times and anything. And then around 7 in the evening, when it's most active time for me, usually I forced him to go to sleep in Malaysia and Singapore. And he, again, I didn't understand why he should go to sleep now. So it's quite personal, I believe, for everybody. But for me, this was quite a difficult part to adjust to this biological rhythm. So prepare yourself, and if you go there, go at least 1 or 2 days in advance. Remember the part where I said that I'm a public servant and I'm utilizing all the taxpayers' money as efficiently as possible. I tried to do so also in Singapore in the first time, and also in Malaysia. When we flew in there, I very properly took a train from airport to the central train station, and from central train station, I think from there we took already a taxi to the hotel, and we paid a certain amount of money. Later on, I found out that if I'm taking Grab, which is a local Uber or Taxify, actually they bought over the Uber's Southeast Asian operations. So they are the only ride-sharing service now. It costed 3 times less as using public transport. So they are faster, they are cheaper, they are more reliable. And it really works. You can pay in cash, you can pay via credit card, you can pay even via transactions before and after. So we used it a lot, and it really works. And I might be mistaken, but I think they said that they have around fleet of 500,000 vehicles or something. Maybe it's already more by now. Not only about good things. There is a saying about hacking that it's not a question whether your refrigerator will hack you these days, but when it happens. The same is with the credit cards in that area. Me, myself, I was lucky, or the guys who actually copied my credit card are still being patient, and they haven't used this opportunity. But quite a few members of our groups got their credit card data copied. So it's not the actual theft that somebody steals your physical credit card, but they manage to copy the data, and they can utilize it when you're already back home and empty your wallet. So be careful. Cash is always an option, but this is something to be seriously considered, that install some kind of safety mechanisms or push notifications that you are immediately notified when your account balance changes. On the business side, and to combine it with the public and business side, these two people are the ones who I would like to namely bring out. There are, of course, many helpful people, and I cannot name all of them here. But in LIDA, or LIA in Latvia, their local representative in Singapore, Miss Lasma Lidaka, absolutely helpful person, really jumped out of her shoes to really facilitate and organize everything. That I have everything or nothing but good words about her. And the same goes about His Excellency Mr. Riho Gruuv, who is the Estonian Foreign Ministry representative, the ambassador in a very huge area. So he has to cover a lot of countries, but he was also really, really helpful in all of the communications and setting up the local meetings. And so do test and do try out the different kind of people. Not all of them might work for you, but these two worked really well for us. And if you need introductions or connections, we can do them. And pretty much last, or almost last slide is that anything is possible. As I mentioned that I know nothing about marketing or product development, and when we were at the fairs, I was listening quite closely that what are the options, or what are the ways how to enter to the market, and what are the local chains or shops or salesmen or women asking. And then pretty much literally everything is possible. If you want to go with your own brand, you can come with your own brand. If you want to go with a local brand, they can make it happen. If you want to come and let them take care of the legal part and everything, it's possible. If you want, you can send them the recipe, they will make the products there. They will make them in capsules, in jars, in whatever, in powder form, however you want. Some things which were completely new for me is that, okay, you don't even need to send us anything. If you want, okay, if you have some very specific raw material, send this over in bulk form and we will do it. But if you want, we will also actually develop new product series or strains from your raw material, if you want. And then we can sell them under your brand as well. So the kind of specter of services that is available and what they are offering to do, whether it's in reality works this way, we didn't manage to test out, but really the kind of opportunities are quite limitless. And some words which kind of are important and will help you to get somewhere, but I'm not going to go through of them here, is mindfulness, sincerity, attention, and communication. Maybe just a word on communication, because again, from our region, we are, yes? No? Okay. We are not most communicative people, and it's tiring for us if somebody wants to talk with us every day, sometimes even twice a day, about everything and anything, starting from how your dog is living and finalizing how your boat is doing, but nothing around business. That you can still ask, but not get an information out of them. But it's something that you have to endure and to build the relationships. So my personal experience again that it took me some time to survive this kind of intensive communication. And now the very, very last slide, which is a thank you slide. There is a saying in Estonia that a decent Estonian woman has to grow up or carry a man and 7 kids or something. In my case, I was really lucky, or I'm a really unfortunate case of a man, because it took about 6 women to carry me throughout the project and make the project happen. So I owe a lot of them. I owe a really lot to all of them. So my very, very special and sincere thanks to the ladies who, some of them are here today, some of them are not here today, but without them the project, the events, the activities would not have taken place, but they really carried me here today. So thank you. And now I'm changing the hats and saying that my part is done. I have done my presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask right now, you can ask later. My contact is also in a little bit small letters there. And we are going back to Southeast Asia next year with another project. So if any of you is interested, just write me. But I would like to ask the next presenter, Katrina. And I will just put on the presentation in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not that one. So yours was... Nope. Where did I lose it? Maybe it was still here. This one?
Yes.
Yes. Just use the arrows to change the slides.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Katrina Hiadex, and I'm an international product manager of a company, Solipharma. I'm really grateful for being today here and to talk about the experience we had in Singapore. But at first, I'll start with a brief background information of our company. We are a Latvian company that has been exporting products for now more than 70 different ones for 10 years, almost 10 years. We have been developing our formulas together with doctors, pharmacists, and scientific institutions to have this distinguished high quality of the products and to have this individual approach to each customer, each partner, each reseller. Also, I'd like to mention that the total number of our employees are around 400, if we summarize all the partners together. As you can see, these are our main partners across the world, starting from the Baltic states, of course, and ending with the Georgia, Azerbaijan, and also Vietnam. And all the other things that I want to mention that we have our special brands that are recognized in these countries very well. For example, Olefar, Soluro, Hepastrong, Arteveron. I hope that you have heard maybe some of them in or seen in the pharmacies. And yes, this is how our company works for now. And getting to this slide, we now see that also we have developed our own production site. And because of our export increasing numbers and new partners, we have developed this new production site that also includes new laboratory where we can develop our new formulas and also our partners can suggest the formulas they need for their country, their specific nation, and this is where we can make the new fresh formulas for them. Moving to the next topic, that is the main topic today, Asia. I wanted just to mention and show you maybe you haven't seen or have seen in the globus, but the Asia is huge. The population is the highest. And if we look into the population density, we can see that in Asia, there is around 400 people per quadrimeter, and for example, in Latvia, only 80. So this shows us the opportunities we have there. Like it is the center of opportunities because the amount of customers is high, and so the needs are also a lot, and we can develop new formulas to like make the offer for them. When we were in Singapore, we also went to the pharmacies. They were more than 20. Actually, no, a bit less than 20, sorry. But we looked to the prices and the products that are sold. And we see that the prices are very high. For example, we also have our own product that consists, that also is Sambucus nigra, and the same was there in a pharmacy. But the price was 2 times higher. That was 2 times like more expensive than we have here. This is like Sambucol that was in Singapore cost around 19 euros, and in Latvia the same that we produce costs around 10, 11 euros. And when we're looking to the joint product, we see that if we're looking to the one package, it costs around 43 euros, but in Latvian pharmacies, the same product costs around 20, 22. That is that we can see that it is 2 times more expensive. So this also shows us that there's a lot of customers, and also the prices are higher, so we can sell more and with the higher prices. That is also very good for us. And when we were in this exhibition, Vitafoods Asia, this exhibition opened the door for this Asia market, where we got this new experience, what is needed in this region, and also new contracts to expand our exporting opportunities, and as well as we saw that there are new formulas that must be developed for this region because their needs are a bit different. And also this exhibition is like the meeting point where we can meet our existing partners and to discuss the future plans, the formulas. That is also very important to mention because our partners also look where we participate, where we are and how we develop. And Singapore is like the Asian center where all the new developments can be found. And this is where we are and we stand. And for our partners, it shows that we are interested in development. And Singapore is is the center of development. When we're talking about the results of this exhibition, we had like very positive ones. We had one signed contract with one pharmaceutical distributor company, and also we're having negotiation with 2 pharmacy chains, and also we met our partners that work extensively. That means that they're not only in Singapore, working in the Singapore, but also they are working in this whole region, Asian region, that is Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, and Indonesia. And that is also very important when you meet this new partner. It's not like you're going to sell only in Singapore, but usually their business goes extensively. That is very important to note out. But of course there is an issue, and the issue is the documentation. And it is the very long process where a lot of papers must be done. And we are the company that sells food supplement and medical devices. And but the documentation that is needed in these Asian region are very similar to Rx, that is the medicine. documentation. And also, when I went to see the partner in the office, we talked about the documentation as well, of course. And she said that you cannot put, for example, on the package the indication. You can put like joint health or just not the specific. For example, if we're talking about the urinary tract, you cannot put like cystitis because it shows the indication that is only suitable for the medicine. So this is like an issue that was told there to us. Of course, the documentation process is started and the responsible person is looking through these documents. But that is the issue that must be told today according to the registration. So thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions? Please do not hesitate to ask them. Yes, please.
A question. Traveling to Singapore is quite expensive. How would you plan to follow up these meetings with your potential partners in the future?
We are having. We have previously done these meetings through the Skype, because Skype also offers to have these conferences where you can see face to face, not like exact, but through the Skype these meetings, and of course the documentations, everything can be given by airplane or the samples. So this is how we work. Yes, please.
Thank you for the presentation. Could you please comment a little bit about purchasing power in Latvia and in Singapore?
Sorry?
Purchasing power.
Could you be a bit specific?
I mean,
sorry.
You compared the prices in Latvia and in Malaysia.
Yes.
But what about the power to buy goods in Latvia compared with Malaysia?
Okay.
About wages and salaries
Yes.
in both countries.
Of course, the Singaporean citizen can buy more. The salaries are bigger. The living.
Cost also higher.
Yes. They are very, very different because I do not remember for now, but there was a very big difference. What can the Latvian citizen? How much money does the spend Latvian citizen, and how much the Singaporean one? So this is why I think the prices are so big, because for them it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
I will show the differences, what spend Singaporeans, Malaysians, and to compare with Latvians and Estonians. It's my, be ready for my question. What do you know about GDP?
Okay, thank you. Looking forward.
You also mentioned that you are on the Vietnamese market.
Yes.
How long time did it take you to enter the market there, roughly?
Unfortunately, I'm not the responsible person to answer this question. But as I've seen, for what my colleagues were doing, that took a very long time. It was more than 6 months. I'm sure about that. And there was a lot of documentation. But when you enter the market, then it is easier for the others products to be registered.
Yeah, because in my recollection, also the 1.5 to 2 years is the kind of the standard process of the
It's for food supplements.
Yes.
food supplements
Yes.
and
Cosmetic things, yes,
in medicine, in case of
In medicine, it's
pharmaceutical
never
case,
ending story.
Yeah.
As I usually
it's even longer. But I would like to follow up what Andre asked and about the physical going there and about being expensive to go there. I would say personally that it wasn't so expensive to go there. It's the same as your average European travel. It's lengthy or it's time expensive to go there. The travel time is longer. So, but do you really do the business mostly online or via the telecommunication tools, or do you still intend to have the physical meetings as well?
No, of course, the physical meetings, but it depends on the country how far it is. If it is I don't know, in Baltic states, we can go easily once per week if it is needed. But if it is like, for example, Azerbaijan, we cannot like every month because we are having a lot of partners and we need to see all of them, and we have to make like a schedule. But usually, yes, we go travel and face to face, see our partner, of course, through the telecommunications and through the internet.
My question is, are you ready to go for next week for the Asia?
Of course, and no, but this exhibition was very, very helpful, and it was very important for us also to meet our partners. And actually, the interesting thing, we went to CPHI worldwide. That was the week before, and we actually met the partners we met in Singapore. We also met in this exhibition, and they remember us. They just came to me and said, "Oh, hi, we met in Singapore." And I was like, "Okay, yes, I remember you." But very interested that in this Vitafoods Asia, there were you were talking about these boss men and boss women. There were boss women. There were boss women. So maybe it is a bit different when we're speaking about Malaysia or China, but when we're speaking to Singaporean, there really were boss women.
I hope they will. Yeah, absolutely.
In Vietnam as well, bosses women, truly at home as well.
So do you have any more questions? Okay, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. So moving on from Singapore to Malaysia. Where are my manners? Somewhere in Estonia still. Now, could I please give you a small goodie bag, not from Singapore, unfortunately, or Malaysia, much more closer, but thank you for the speech, and hopefully there will be something useful. Correct. Yes. Excellent.
So my name is Anette, and my topic is doing business in Malaysia. Okay, thank you. Today I'm representing company Silvexpo, but to better understand business, I will briefly tell about Violet. It's Latvian company established in 1993, the company aim is to maximize the use of renewable forest resources and obtain unique raw materials from pine and spruce needles. And Silvexpo is our scientific company doing studies to research these raw materials, pharmacological effects, and developing new products, food supplements. About exhibition, sorry, I wasn't there. These are my colleagues presenting our projects, but I will give short feedback about it. So, for our company, it was quite successful exhibition. We had 33 business contacts, after the show, most of them from Malaysia, but also very important contacts from Singapore, Vietnam, Indonesia, Kenya, China. And of course, one of most important results is just to see this market and meet new people. So our products are food supplements, and registration procedure for food supplements in Malaysia is generally regulated in a manner similar to that of pharmaceutical products, and it can be even year long. To enter this market, we need Malaysian agent, and for them it's very important to know the quality, and they require GMP certificates for our products. Of course, also for us it's important to know product stability, and many projects are postponed because of stability test for climate zone 4B. But one of great things that we got to know is that products already registered in France or UK, also Australia or United States, could be registered faster and easiest. So there are ongoing conversations and meetings, also in next exhibition in Singapore with these new partners, and in our opinion it's important to go also next year and to gain more value in the eyes of our partners. So that's all from me today. Thank you. Do you have some questions, or maybe you want to share your Malaysia experience?
One maybe remark or something that you reminded me is one difference is that sometimes when we are talking about with similar words, but the meaning is different, is about these tests, and what struck me there is the simple thing as room temperature, because many products also in our shelves and everything are you can read on the package that to be kept on the room temperature. But the room temperature in Estonia is one thing, room temperature in Latvia is pretty much the same thing. Room temperature in Singapore or Malaysia, however, is completely different thing. And how your product survives there and behaves there is absolutely a different story. And this was something that kind of I had never thought about it this way until I was there, and people started to ask me questions about room temperature. Okay, but what does it mean? What's your average room temperature? And okay, 20 degrees, 21 in Estonia. It's like it's already warm. It's like, but there it's something completely different. Again, do you know how those negotiations are ongoing with different partners? Because another thing what I noticed there is that almost everybody wants exclusive deals, and this maybe also is a kind of a follow-up question to Katrina, that because a lot of partners there want exclusivity. That every kind of business negotiation deal is about that. Can you give us exclusive deal? Mm-hmm. How is it in your experience and how it's going?
There are partners who want to this exclusivity. Yes. Sorry, the question was.
But as you said, that you are managing different partners and different negotiations. So how they are going, or how slow or fast, or can you elaborate on that one a little bit?
I think maybe for Malaysia market, it's our homework that we need to do for this documentation and tests for ourselves. And yeah, but it's of course it's not so easy than in Europe for your partners.
Yeah, but in Singapore, it's a little bit more easy to go. For example, in Malaysia, you need this GMP certificate for production. For Singapore, they don't ask GMP certificate for food supplement production.
Yes.
And in Singapore, for a lot of food supplements, it is according to list. It's not need to be registered.
Yes.
There is only need to notification. It means that in Singapore, you can go more faster than in Malaysia. And if you are in Singapore, then it's more easy again after that to go in Malaysia a little bit later after you have all documentation is ready for submission.
Yeah. Actually, also from these contacts, yes, with Singaporeans we have gone further than with Malaysia partners.
Yeah, but from other side, again, Malaysia and enterprise for Singapore is higher.
Mm-hmm.
I discussed during our business trip with some consultant companies, and they say, just for information, if you would like to be on a shelf in pharmacies, you need to pay 170,000 Singapore dollars just when you be in these pharmacies. After that, you need to pay additional shelf price. It's an entry fee for such big pharmacies. Here, for the price, of course, in pharmacies is higher. It's just for food supplements, for OTC, and other medicine. Just need to calculate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm for keeping my manners this time intact. And also for you, we have a little goodie bag.
Okay.
And hopefully it will sweeten the deals with different partners. Now, as my dear colleague Ivars, who I didn't mention in my slide among all the ladies, but he has also been very helpful, helpful partner. So not to discriminate the only man that we have in the project aside me. So he kindly reminded me that now we have almost the most important speaker next, because she represents the money, and everybody is always curious about the money. So it's my great pleasure to invite Vineta from Estonia-Latvia program, and also our project was funded by Estonia-Latvia program, and we are very grateful for them. But the good news is that they still have some money left.
It's our money.
Which is not our money. But they still have some money left, and Vineta hopefully will give us some insights. What should we do to get our hands on that money?
Very careful preparations. Dear everybody, dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Vineta, and I'm working in Estonia-Latvia program as a program consultant, and I am working, I'm the only one who is working in Riga office. All my colleagues are situated in Tartu. My plan today is to shortly tell you about the status of the program, where we are. I will introduce as well shortly about the projects that we have already supported, including Hiadex project based in Malden. And I will shortly touch on the fourth call requirements. This will be just the main rules, because everything else is published on our website. So until now, we have supported 43 projects and have distributed 29 million. On this slide, you see the diversity of the topics where the support is going. But I must say that more than half, 25 projects, are actually so-called entrepreneurship projects. And this is maybe something new for our program, that more than half of the projects are goes for the entrepreneurship. Then there are some tourism projects, some environmental awareness projects, joint water management. Valga is getting some money as well, and then the biggest project, about 9 million, goes to the Estonian Latvian harbors. The status of finances is, as you see, we had from the very beginning 35 million available for the projects. 29 million are already awarded to the projects. And we have had 3 calls, and the big harbor project was predefined project. But currently, the 4th call is open, and it is open for the business and for the labor commuters. And in the future, we plan that there will be at least 1 call, and there is planned also another predefined project for the harbors. And about the even further future, we are not sure yet, because we don't know how many leftovers will be from the projects that are in the implementation. Shortly about the partners. The situation with the partnership is, we involved quite many, actually, as you see, 236 partners from Estonia, Latvia, that includes companies, state authorities, local, regional authorities, NGOs. If on the lead partners side, you see there are a little bit more Estonian lead partners than on the other partners, usual partners side. There is a little bit more from Latvia. Now, this was about the status of the program. Now, we have supported already 16 so-called SME cooperation projects. Why do we call them SME cooperation projects? Because the requirement is that in project participates at least 1 SME from Latvia and 1 SME from Estonia. Just to give some insight, who participates in these 16 projects which are in implementation, there are 36 Estonian and Latvian companies, and in addition there are 5 partners which are not SMEs, which is also allowed. Then the partnership within these 16 projects involves mostly 2 or 3 companies. This situation is in 12 out of 16 projects. So this is the most popular partnership, that the 2 SMEs really decide to work together. Average grant size is about 340,000 euros. We have supported really small projects, which are slightly over 100,000 euros, but 6 projects out of 16 are over 400,000 euros, which is very close to the maximum grant size, so to say. Then among these 16 supported projects, we have only 1 so-called pure marketing project, which is your project, Hiadex. But the rest is joint product or service development. You can find information about these projects on our website. You have to look under the section supported projects, and topic, you have to choose topic SME cooperation. I have added these images here. These are 3 examples which I want to bring forward today. One of the just to demonstrate how different the partnerships can be, and how different sectors can be supported, because we do not have any limitation for sectors. Any sector, companies, any companies from any sector can be supported. The educational audio learning books, this project is Shami's project, or in Latvian it is Lupatiņi, where the publisher Liels un Mas, which is very well known in Latvia, provides content for the audio learning book, but the Estonian company provides the technology because they have developed a talking pen. And the book and the talking pen goes together in one new product, audio learning book. So the publisher and the technology developer. Then we have geospatial data platform, where again two companies cooperate. Latvian company is Jāņasēta, which is also very well known. The Estonian company is Richu. And if you look at the partners, they are competitors, but they have found a way how to work together to develop this new platform, which increases their competitiveness in Europe, in foreign markets, just because they are providing better product, better service on a scale of Baltics. So competitors also can come together in our projects. And the last one is a food sector project where glucose galactose syrup, natural sugar, is developed. And here Smiltenes piens, which is a very well-known Latvian food factory. And research company is coming together in this project. So the Smiltenes piens is using their labs for testing and for developing this syrup. So the compositions, what I want to say, that the compositions of partners can be, there are no actually limits. If you find the right product and the right competencies, that there are no limits what the companies can do together. This is what we have. Recently, 7 new projects joined, and they are just in their initial phases. Therefore, I will not talk about them today, but project profiles are on our website. Then we come to the fourth call. We have 2 specific objectives or 2 topics open. The first is this, what I already mentioned, SME cooperation, which includes joint product development or joint service development and marketing, or it can be also only marketing. And then the labor commuting, this is very little money left, but there is room for one project. For SME cooperation, there is 1.5 million available. And if you look back what I have said about the average size of the project, so depending on what we will receive, there can be room for 4 to 6 new products to be developed with our support. There are requirements for the SMEs, which we really check scrupulously, I would say. The main requirement is that there is at least one SME from Estonia and one SME from Latvia. And I have added here at the start because in Estonia the program area is not reaching Tallinn. Tallinn is outside the program territory, and just in exceptional cases, well-justified cases, the company can come from Tallinn. So if you are looking for a partner, you have to look in South or West Estonia. Then there are specific requirements which I will not list. They are also on our leaflets, but these specific requirements are directed towards the financial capacity of the company, which we are paying really lots of attention that the companies are financially stable, and therefore are these specific requirements. And if you will apply, you will have, each SME will have to fill in also a financial table. This is very important that the finances are very well represented. Examples of the activities. I have listed those ones which actually are mostly represented also in the projects that we already support. And this is the product or service development itself, the process, which we understand. We are using the term experimental development, which comes from the EU regulation. And it is mainly because the state aid in most cases apply. I will talk a little bit later about this state aid issue. This experimental development means that the two companies really combine their knowledge and experience in creating the new product. And this it also includes the development of the prototype or the pilot. It can include testing, and it can include also investments which are directly related to the product development. Not that you come to us with your company's development plans. We are not investment program, but investments that are directed to the product development or service development are allowed. Also, project management costs can be included in the project, which I think is quite important. But we see also in our projects that actually companies tend to focus on the real product development, that sometimes staff costs are also kept out of this project. Then the marketing activities, you have done these activities, and your project very well represents what can be included in the marketing. This means that SMEs can come together in a project and market together Estonian and Latvian products. And the visits to target markets can be included, events, contact-making events, as well accesses to databases, market analysis, fairs. Wider list is also on our website. Each project has to fulfill these output indicators. The one type of project is joint product and service development, and there we are looking as a final to have a product or service ready. And in this case, joint marketing activities are compulsory. So there are these two output indicators, joint product plus marketing. But there is also a possibility to come with the only marketing project. Then only marketing activities will be the output indicator. Now we come to the interesting part, the grant size and the aid intensity. Maximum grant size per project, not per partner, but per project is 500,000 euros. But as I said, there were few projects that really were close to this 500,000 euros, because in this specific requirements list, there is also a kind of restrictive rule that you cannot receive more than 50% from the program than was your last year's turnover. So And this is related to this financial capacity because the project from the very beginning must be financed by yourself, by your business. Then the co-financing rate is up to 85%. But this very favorable co-financing rate is only in the case if your company has available de minimis. If you have used your de minimis, then you are going to the next category, which will be where the support will be qualified as a state aid, and there, depending on the activities which you will then include in the project, the intensity will be from 50 to 80%, and there you will have to consult with us. We will help you to find together this where the activities exactly, under which article they exactly fall. So I think this co-financing rate is very competitive. The submission deadline is 3rd of January next year, right after winter holidays, or if you are submitting project, maybe holidays will have to be skipped. But the application must be submitted in the electronic monitoring system in one phase. So you submit application, full application in the system, and that's it. On the 7th of November in Riga and on the 13th of November in Tartu, there will be the training event, how to submit the application in the electronic monitoring system. This information we will publish on our website and also our Facebook account. So I invite you to follow our news on our Facebook, but of course all official information can be found on our website. All documents which are required to submit, everything, the manual, several books of guidelines. But yeah, I hope you will find this call interesting for you. Maybe some questions still.
Questions. Which are the most common mistakes but which are being made while the proposal is being rejected?
What we see that there is somewhat not serious attitude from applicants towards the preparation of the application. It is really huge work. The information must be inserted very carefully, but with the intention that the third persons really understand what you want to do, what each partner will exactly do, so that from the information it can be really concluded and the application can be really qualitatively assessed because the qualitative information is provided. So if you are looking for applying, then please start on time. Consultation with the Secretariat is compulsory. You have to come with your team, with your lead partner. If you are lead partner, you come to us and meet us with your partner. And we will go through the main points. We will draw your attention where you have to work more, what is not clear. And I think, we would suggest that if you are hiring a consultant, actually, we have to say that in the last call we had the worst experience with the consultants, because they really don't know the topic, they don't know your team, they don't know your product exactly. They think that they can put in the application keywords. In our program, it doesn't work because we are looking for a real content. Application is assessed by the financial expert, by the entrepreneurship expert, and by us, Joint Secretariat. We are assessing the cooperation aspect, and therefore the information must be complete, and this application will be your roadmap with which you will live the whole project life.
Okay, and two more questions. Does this meeting have to be, can it take place over with Skype, or it has to be like eye-to-eye meeting with Secretariat?
Eye-to-eye via Skype as well, yes. It can be via Skype, yes.
Okay. I have also some questions. I will try to remember it.
Sure.
I have also one question. You mentioned that candidate must have at least 50,000 as an annual turnover for 2017, right? Can you explain definition of turnover from your side? Is it only money for customer? Is it money from customer plus grants? How you define turnover?
I think it is the whole money that you manage. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because also for implementing this project, you at the end will maybe borrow the money.
Yes.
So your capacity will be assessed not only from the program side, but also from the bank.
Okay, thank you.
I remember my second question. We also offer partnering service. I mean, let's say we have a very good product in Estonia which you like to export, and you would like to come to a project, but we don't know, is there someone producing something similar in Latvia? Do we have to find a partner ourselves? We will, I don't know, ask Science Park in Tartu, or we can also have some kind of list from Estland.
Mm-hmm. We don't have such a list. In very specific cases where the sector is very specific, yes, we can help. But on our website, you can find also the sector associations, where they the best know their members. But of course, nothing prevents you really for searching the company that you want to work with. But of course, you will have to work and spend together the money. So you have to have kind of credit and trust in your partner. Therefore, using the help of the associations would be, I would suggest, the best.
I had a comment/question to one of the previous questions about turnover. Isn't it pretty important that the number you indicate as a turnover is exactly the numbers that you have in State Revenue Service as reported turnovers for the last year? Shouldn't it be kind of a perfect match? If you report to State Revenue Service that you have 128.159 thousand turnover, it should be indicated exactly in the report that your turnover is exactly the same. Because you said that you're going to check this information from the official registers, right? So
exactly.
I would presume that is the case then.
But that's the case.
There should be the match between those two. That's what you indicate and what you report to State Revenue Service, right? Or not?
This is at least, this 50,000.
Yeah.
At least.
I understand, but
maybe I didn't catch the.
No. The idea is that it's one thing that you have this kind of turnovers that you report but it's not only the question about having it above 50,000, but it's also a question about having the same number in all registers and all levels, meaning that if you apply and if you indicate that you had turnover of 128, it shouldn't be the case that State Revenue Service has information that you had 250. So you should indicate exactly this number that is official, right?
Yes, because we will look at the registries.
Okay,
definitely, yeah, we will look at the registries. But I'm not so confident about these financial tables, but also in these financial tables, you will provide the data, which you really have to work closely with your bookkeeper and fill in yourself, because what we are looking for, it is really reliable data, and they will be checked also by the financial expert as well. So.
Yes, but I would say that well, yes, contact your bookkeeper and work with your bookkeeper, but make sure that you check that the data your bookkeeper is providing to you perfectly match with the data that are reported to State Revenue Service and company register. So those should correspond perfectly, because, well, financial controllers, I don't know, but I would presume that they go to company register, or like in Latvia you have Lūrsas and firmas,
yeah.
and then they will check. Is there a match? Yes, tick. There is no match, or there is mismatch, no matter what your bookkeeper said, unfortunately, or
yeah. But we can specify. We can specify this if there is doubt about.
Okay, but I also had another totally different question. Let's leave financials aside. All those support measures are always looking for an impact. Could you please provide some good examples and not so good examples on what impacts in a short and long term would you expect from those cooperation projects? Which ones would you mention? Yeah, this is clearly a good impact in long term for Estonia and Latvia.
The impact will be measured a little bit later, I would say, because we have only in entrepreneurship we have only 3 projects that are ending in September, October, only 3 projects, so it's a little bit too early to measure. But what we are looking for is that ties with the Estonian and Latvian companies are closer, that the cooperation becomes real. And if we are lucky with our support, and if you are lucky with using this support wisely, then we might have very competitive products that later on, after a few years, maybe even in a longer term, will bring to our economies back income. That's what we are looking for the cooperation and for a better socio-economical development of our countries. That's what we are also going to measure, because we have also on a program level, we have a result indicator that is going to be measured actually, but that will happen a bit later.
I was a little curious, how are you assessing this, because companies can promise whatsoever. How would you assess that, oh yes, this looks like good project which will provide a sufficient impact, and this is a lousy project which will not provide any impact, neither in short nor in long term. How are you assessing this component when you get 2 applications?
First of all, on the project level are these 2 output indicators. As we said, the sectors are not the ones which kind of this is better or this is worse. The products itself, how the project is composed, we really look into the companies as well, of course. What are they doing? What are their intentions? Our quality assessment criteria, of course, are available on, in the manual, and there are quite many of them. But there would not be a preference, for example, to IT product service or the food, some food product or a pharmaceutical. There are. Yeah, Baido also has quite.
Yeah, any other questions? Because I also would like to ask a follow-up question on Ivars's question, and you don't have to answer it, of course.
Thank you.
Yes,
very
Linda?
easy questions. What about upfront payment? We can ask.
You mean
Prepayment?
prepayment? No. The prepayment is not possible in our program. The project from the very beginning must be financed by the partners. Money, I am afraid to say in this audience at what time the money returns. Normally, the money should return within 8 to 10, maximum 12 months. And that's normally. There are some difficulties with the capacity of the financial controllers, but money definitely returns if the costs are eligible.
That is money returns by submission of interim report, so it's returned
report.
in the end of the project when all reports are.
It should return from the interim reports. Reporting period is 4 months. After the first 4 months, you have to go through the full check. When you receive the first payment, and if you already have submitted the second report, you can get 50% from the ERDF support already without going through full financial check, because you have gained some trust and you have gone through it. So it means that after first 8 months you might get the first interim report payment and plus 50% of the ERDF.
Before final.
Before.
And I have one last question before coffee break, and you are welcome to ask questions during the coffee break. But what I wanted to follow up is Ivars's question about the impact and about the good and the bad and the ugly projects. Because we all know, or maybe we don't all know, but we are able to follow the official metrics and measurement criteria. And I remember that on program level you had some very interesting impact criteria. I don't remember them by heart, but I know they exist, and they will be definitely measured. On project level we have the different set of indicators, and there is a whole long list of different indicators which all will be checked and done, and I'm absolutely sure that most of them will be fulfilled. However, this is not my question. The question is that do you in-house have an unofficial list of the good, the bad and the ugly projects? Like these we really like, these we don't like, these we don't like, but they are actually meaningful ones. Do you have in-house such kind of list? But you're not forced to answer.
As you said in your presentation, the real life starts when the project starts. What we see on the application are words and information, and we don't know so well people behind the projects. So yes, the projects of course come also into difficulties, and there are projects that communicate more, and we actually know about them more, so we can get better insight. Like for example, Wild Candy, that is really very small project, but it turned out to be very active in showing what they are doing, and so gradually they also got attention from the media, and they have developed organic candy, and really very small companies that in the first call we had not so strict financial capacity rules. So I would not say this is my personal opinion, that if you fulfill the specific requirements and everything, that you are automatically successful. That's not true, because behind the project always are people. They might not find a joint language at the end, because there are business relations, and you are from business, you know what are the business relations. In the project like this, the business people may take over things or so, or you come also to disagreements or so. Therefore, this the beginning, and agreeing to go in partnership with the other company. That's also a key aspect, I think. No. We don't have most favorite or less favorite, and your project was very exotic, I would say. Outstanding and exotic in that respect, that you went the most far.
Yes, this is. We would like to repeat that, because going with Estonia-Latvia project as far to Malaysia and Singapore, this is, I think, yes, a record in terms of Estonia-Latvia program's reach. That it's the program area is Estonia-Latvia, and even Tallinn is out, as you understood. Yet we went to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. So don't go to Tallinn, go to Kuala Lumpur or to Tartu. But thank you, Vineta.
Thank you very much.
And on the note of Vineta's presentation, I have actually tasted this wild candies. I was in Riga Food, they were out there, and these are really, really good candies. I recommend you to taste them while you can. Unfortunately, we don't have them here today, but we do have some more coffee and some more and still some cakes. So let's make a short break. We can stretch, and after the break, let's say in half an hour, we can continue with the official part. So let's take a small break and ask questions and have some discussions.
See, I won.
About yes, excellent planning.
siia isegi ma ütleks. Ütleme iseenesest ei ole tegelikult tegemist seda ja ega see ühistoodete tegemine, intellektuaalomandi küsimused, kõik muud asjad, ega ta ei ole lihtne.
Plus minus ready to continue, and I'm happy to present one of the boss women now as a next speaker. So Linda, you can tell about your experiences, which are many and multiple from different regions, starting from Latvia and Estonia and finishing with much further away markets. So.
Yeah.
Please tell us the purchasing power and GDP of Singapore.
Okay, thank you. In my presentation, you can see a lot of tables, numbers, and so on. I maybe not to try read all these numbers, but I say through these numbers my experience. And thank you, Vaido, for first presentation, which is really show how we feel when we visit the Southeast Asia countries. And from one side, of course, Southeast Asia countries is seems that is one whole thing, but from other side is maybe not totally different, but this country is different. And just as example, these two countries, Malaysia and Singapore, which is neighbors, which coming from one historical point of view, but development and expectation of this market is a little bit different than between these countries. I would like to start with global market, and as you see, this market has grown at 8% during the period from 11 to 16, and is expected to grow at 6% in the next 5 years. It means till 2021. The main drivers of growth, of course, as usually in all markets and also in Southeast Asia markets, is innovative drugs. It's new development, new molecules. also, I think that which is on this market know that biological, biosimilars products is go instead of traditional chemical products. Aging population. It's not only a Latvian or Estonian problem. It's a problem also from some of countries of Southeast Asia region. For example, Singapore. And of course, why not this pharmaceutical market grows so fast? Because again, the same global concerns on rising drug price is increasing focus, and government increase the focus for generics and low-cost drugs. Something similar you can see, for example, in Vietnam. There is low-cost products on markets a lot, and if you go to in this market, you need to be ready to be in contact with this low-cost medicine. But this may be a little bit change. I can show later on my slides because I say all information in one slide. Let's continue with APAC is ASEAN Pacific countries, but here is some part of countries which, from my point of view, is more interesting for you. Focus countries have seen strong growth from the local perspective. And we can see that all countries is grow. It's a good news, but Vietnam as market grow faster. There is in the last 5 years, it's a 15% growing, and our target market Singapore 3.8 and Malaysia 5.46. I also explain why I think in such way. Regarding GDP, you can see this real GDP per capita and healthcare expenditure for per capita in US dollars. You can compare this all numbers with or Latvian or Estonian the same. I think that here is a lot of businessmen which know more clever in this, but I can say I special to write. For example, real GDP per capita in Latvia is 40,118 US dollars. It means that Singapore, which is also is our main target market, is a more higher. And the same is South Korea. But I explain why if you decide to go in South Korea, why not need to think before to go in South Korea as usual. And for example, Estonian, as I write, is 17,574 US dollars. It's again healthcare indication. It's very high again in Singapore and in South Korea. Just again, for example, in Latvia is 705, and in Estonian is 1,400. It's again you can see these numbers and maybe it's not say a lot, but for perspective, it's from my point of view is very important. When I go back. Pharma growth in focus countries is also expected to slow in the next 5 years, except in Singapore and Korea, which grow faster, but this doesn't mean that this country is not to grow. For example, Indonesia or Vietnam grow faster, is 9% or 7% for next 5 years. but it's all compared with previous period. Again, next very important thing what you need to know, it's a split between local companies and multinational companies. What does it mean? For example, these two countries, Korea and Indonesia, there is operate them, on market local companies, is according to local requirements. It means that they protect local players, and it's very hard to go with import products. It doesn't matter, it's food supplement, cosmetic, or medicine. If you have on front is this local manufacturers. One of the possibilities to go in this market, it's again, it's not mandatory, but it's for my point of view, is to arrange joint ventures with these companies and to maybe to arrange packaging as final possible part of manufacturing, or to send bulk and then to arrange the all the things packaging is possible, and especially in Indonesia there is very open, because Indonesia is a very huge market and it's interesting, but not for import medicine. Again, or two countries where we visited is Malaysia and Singapore. As you see, the multinational companies is dominate in these countries. It's mean that import medicine, import food supplements, import cosmetic is welcome at this moment. And we need to be there, and it helps us to grow together. Again, if you ask about ethical drugs and OTC, with OTC I mean also food supplements, which sometimes is very hard to different, which is medicine, which is food supplements. I also to give some examples why I say such. Of course, in generally, as you see, dominate ethical medicine. It's a prescription medicine which prescribe doctors. Again, in all target markets, as you see, Malaysia is approximately 50-50. It means that market is ready for OTC medicine. And in Singapore is a difference between RX and OTC is 70-30 all around. Just example, which well known, these companies which visited these countries. If in your composition you contain melatonin, in Malaysia this product is restricted as food supplement, and you need to register this product as medicine. But in Singapore, you are welcome to use melatonin in food supplements and start to sell immediately. It's again, you have, and in such examples is a lot. There is need. You can need to read these guidelines, or you can need to be trustful partners to understand which is better way for your products and for entrance in the market. This slide I put on because on this presentation because this show generic and OTC products so higher grow in most countries, and in market segments with the highest growth rate. As you see in Malaysia and Singapore, OTC medicine grow higher. It's again show us that market is open from OTC or food supplements, and again I repeat once more, let's go in this market and to be and present there. It's a different marketing entry strategies. We need to, before this project, we decide that we arrange a nice product portfolio, and after that, sorry, and after that to try in one portfolio go in this market. During this project, all participants understand that all companies need to go with a separate product portfolio and to find, maybe go through one distributor or marketing player local, or find other possibilities, go in pharmacies or arrange the product under private labels, but it needs to be company decision, which is a better way to go in this market. And once more, growth drivers. What's happened in this region? Increase in reimbursement fundings and coverage. In all these countries, is more and more think about healthcare system, and its possibility to new investments, and it is good time to go at this moment in this market. Again, aging population. Let's think what's need for aging population. Because our life continue more and more longer. 80 years old lady is very active, and to be very active. What they need for them? It's again one possibility. The previous you see this GDP and population. It means that strong support for macroeconomic growth. Prices in these countries, in special for food supplements, is higher, as you see from Katrine's presentation in a photo from pharmacies. It's more higher than in Europe, and here for this market at this moment is very interesting. Also for us. Improvement in healthcare infrastructure and access. They built a lot of private hospitals, clinics. During my Malaysian event, we visited one new hospital, which is full of high level of equipment. They buy medicine with good standards, and they are open to cooperate with Europe. It's maybe from one side is a bad that they don't know there is a Latvia or Estonia, but from other side is a good news, because we are Europe, and we are made in Europe. And it means that it means equality. Such is my experience. Regarding investments, of course, as I say, Indonesia is ready for investments if somebody would like, but it's not our topic today. Yes, an increasing wealth of middle class and per capita healthcare spend. Yes, such happen now, and a lot of people go from countryside to cities, and incomes is grow. It's again, it's our client. Next slide is about a little bit about Malaysia. And maybe some critical factors in forecast. Malaysian pharmaceutical market continued to grow. because government efforts to increase awareness about disease prevention and proactive screening increase consumption of drugs, increasing again investments. But from other side, more strictly, this happens, this increasing price monitoring of medicine. And it's a little bit tricky risk. In last week, I discussed with one Malaysian company which ask and says that they have also limitation from some psychotropic medicine import. It's just as an example, because government is ready only cover a very small part of import of medicine. It means you invest a lot of time to prepare a dossier, arrange 4B zone stability data, and so on, and after that to sell 10,000 packs. It's a good news or bad news. I think that for such big investments and go in this market, before you go, please search more deeply this information, because sometimes happen such things with psychotropic medicine. I not to suggest to go in, for example, in Malaysia, because it's strictly import licenses. It just as example, as I say. Demographic sound very good. At this moment, it's around 30. Till the 2015, they grow till the 40 million. I not to read all this information. In generally, I say what is good, what is bad, maybe some other accents. What is in Malaysia? From one side, it's a very good that they have not so strictly patent laws. What does it mean that says it's not? It's from one side is good, because it's a possibility to search situation regarding patents, and this patent is workable in all countries. But some countries, this patent doesn't work. And it means that you can be the first generic or first molecule on the Malaysian market. It's a good. From other side, it means that if you are innovator and to register patents, but according to Malaysian law, it's not workable. It's bad for you, because other one going after you very fast. Okay, from one side, it's a good that generic product drugs market grow. Yes, it's good. It means that you have the place and you can go on this market. But from other side, it's again not good, because the price monitoring, the price policy from government also is under control. And therefore, I not to say that this is a strength or weakness. It's depend from which position you start. Again, this ASEAN harmonization. It of course the possibility to go in 11 countries in the same time. It's under such idea of this Asian harmonization law. But I think that maybe it happened after 20, 50 years. We see that what kind of harmonization is happened between Baltic states on packaging materials. So, good luck, maybe it's an opportunity on the future. This is a table, so you can see that what the prognosis of experts, what they grow, this pharmaceutical and healthcare segmentation. If Malaysia, here is again from a drug market growing, for generic market information, OTC medicine, which also include food supplements. all this medicine tendency is positive. Regarding Singapore, I say that a lot of say things, but what is a good idea, what's happened at this moment in Singapore? This is MedShield Life scheme. What does it mean? That they try to invest insurance which cover all expenses from elderly people. It's again, as Singapore is very active, this aging situation, it's a good thing for business indication. But from other side, again, in a last visit in Singapore, I visited wholesaler stocks and to see that in generally this government or hospitals use cheap Indian products. It means that it's my vision of this. You never to provide cheaper product than Indian manufacturers. Maybe someone can, but let's see. Of course, this MedShield Life improve patient access to both acute and primary care provision from government's effort to scale up healthcare infrastructure. But from other side, as I say, government bulk purchasing practices and police designed to favor use of generics or low-cost products, Indian medicine for public hospitals. Of course, is other possibilities is private sector. It's other story. It's again the same situation. This is demographic outlook. Compared to Malaysia, there is some stagnation. I think that during period starting from 2020, 30, 50, let's see what will happen in future. About SWOT, again, I think that I inform all information I will give. Weakness, there is mentioned, absolutely size of pharmaceutical market is small. Yes, from one side, this market is small, but from other side, to compare with the Latvian and Estonian market, it's not so small, and this market is more attractive, and you can sell the products for higher price as well. Again, information and tables regarding pharmaceutical and healthcare sector. Drug market forecast, which grow. Generic drug market forecast also. OTC medicine sales go up. And finally, this is my last slide for presentation. From one side, it's not today topic, but why I decide in generally to left this slide. This is Asia Pacific Innovative Pharmaceutical Risk Reward Index. It shows why are you ready to invest? And from one side, of course, experts recommend to invest in this segment because there is a high reward and low risks, and all try to invest in this field. But let's see, where is Malaysia and Singapore? It's a low reward and low risks, but they go on this. I hope they go on this side, and I would like to say, let's see, maybe invest in this market. not invest with money, but maybe invest with joint adventures, with some cooperations, and to be part of this market business. Thank you. It's all for.
Any questions?
All's clear.
One thing which I... Yes?
Yes.
Will you share this presentation with us?
Of course.
For a moderate fee, all presentations will be available.
If you write your emails.
No, the presentations will be definitely shared in the website, and also we can disseminate the links via emails, and we have collected your emails, which reminds me that if you haven't given us your email, please do. The paper is behind the door. But one question what I wanted to ask, which actually I just remembered, is that there is again the difference in the systems. That one thing is that your drugs or medicines should be in the subsidized list, and then they stand a better marketing chance. But one very critical difference is that actually in Singapore, if I remember correctly, the doctors are able to sell the drugs. So the drugs are available at pharmacies, of course, but also the doctors are able to prescribe the drugs, and there can be the price difference.
The doctors prescribe the drugs, but doctors also sell this drug. Then you go to doctor, they to set you, and after that to open I don't remember, шуфлатка, and take the pack and give you, and you can pay directly to the doctors. Additionally, one which I know, according to my visit in Singapore, the doctors which prescribe the drugs also is the same time the wholesaler owners. It means that they suggest which medicine it's need to buy in generally. And I know it's a secret, a good such company in Singapore. I have good relations with them.
It's a good point before we move to Andres' question, that just think about how many of you want to be enemies with your doctor. That even if you can buy with a cheaper price from the pharmacy, but if your doctor insists that you will buy from me, well, you buy from doctor. You don't want to make an enemy out of your own.
I suggest
doctor.
In Singapore buy from doctor.
But okay, Andre, you had a question.
Please.
Yes, I was well, I had contact with one Turkish company, and we said, in that case we had a dietary supplement, and we said that pharmacists are recommending the products where they are earning the most. So basically where the pharmaceutical company is earning the most, this is something which they are recommending. Is there something similar in Singapore, in Malaysia, that is this doctor prescribing, is he or she objective with what he's prescribing or recommending, or he is completely subjective and he is mostly thinking about how much money he can make? Without jeopardizing the life.
It's very hard to say. I explain why. Because in private hospitals, for example, in Malaysia, they use different categories of the same medicine in different categories. They keep cheaper product between medium and higher or original medicine, and it depends your insurance or your money in pocket. It depends what you wish. They recommend from all these three levels of products. You need and they arrange. I know that at this moment in Europe it's not allowed to promote directly to arrange round tables from doctors and promote the product and pay some, no, maybe not money, but some benefits. Yes, in Malaysia, in Singapore, are allowed such activities. It means that all is open, and of course a little bit corruption, like.
It's also okay. There are of course all kinds of doctors. Some are very ethical and some are more motivated by the monetary rewards.
But in general, it's not prohibited by law.
Exactly.
By law, yeah. You can to promote and.
One thing that did resonate a little bit is that despite the price range, or okay, if you can only afford the cheapest medicine, then you will take what you can afford. But the Western or European products have a higher reputation. So you kind of want to showcase yourself as a prestige person. So you are more inclined to buy the Western products. But this is kind of a trend that exists, that the Western products sometimes are preferred over the local ones. Because you can just show that, I can afford to have a Western medicine.
Yeah, and I can say that for my point of view, Malaysia is more open for food supplements than Singapore, and but just need to arrange some requirements. As I mentioned before, you need to GMP manufacturing site for food supplements. There are such requirements, unfortunately, and. And need to check composition.
Any more questions to Linda right now? No? Okay. I have still a goodie bag left for you as well. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to work with you. Hopefully we are able to do so again. And now, last but not least, I'm happy to invite Andre to stage. Now, please listen very carefully and prepare all the questions so you can ask a very intensive Q&A session from him at the end of his speech. Right. And if I'm not mistaken, then just as a kind of a bribe, as you said, that there are always benefits, or not always, but in some cases there will be some drinks served after this presentation. So if you manage to survive his presentations, you will be rewarded with benefits.
Do you have
no.
to push the buttons, or you?
Yes, you have to push the buttons. I understand it's very old school and 19th century move, and in the future innovative products will remove this need to physically push the buttons, but sorry, today you have to do it.
So I'm Andre. I come from a company Biosysy. Actually, I shouldn't supposed to be here today. But Justin, who is our head of marketing and sales, he's in Finland at the moment, participating in our event and meeting our persons. And because I arranged him to visit trade missions, and I also sent him to Finland, so I had to take responsibility. Actually, I'm a senior researcher. I am selling, but I'm usually selling science, not products. So this is something which is going to await you during the next half an hour. If you are watching the last table, we have lost most of our members. It is more or less empty, but first and second table are holding up really well. And Linda should know this place, okay? So this is Singapore, one of the countries which Hiadex covered. I have been a little bit involved with Hiadex from start of it. When Vaido announced that there's going to be a trade fair to Singapore in 2017, or a little bit more than a year ago, I said, no, I don't want to go, and we sent our marketing manager. So in spring 2018, we felt that our vision of our company's future and marketing strategies are not the same, so she left. And at the same time, Vaido asked us, would you like to go to Malaysia? I said, no, I don't want to go to Malaysia. and when Vaido was already somewhere in end of April, that we need someone to Malaysia. And who we are going to send? Oh, we have this young boy. He has worked us for 2 weeks. Let's send him. And he was at Malaysia. Woohoo! and now
we know very well.
Yes. And now in autumn 2018, Justin also visited Vitafood in Singapore. So basically, this is the same story which I spoke to, our experience with Hiadex. So I think we are the most benefited company from this program because we managed to participate 3 events. Of course, its first Vitafood was that I think it was just approved, and when Linda came and said that there's going to be this huge event in Singapore, and we should go, and well, luckily everything solved. It is good to be last time because most of your slides have already been covered by someone else. So this is something which Linda showed you. It's just a quick overview about Singapore and Malaysia. But how much is the population, how big is the economy, etc., main trading partners, business culture, something, I don't remember, was it mentioned or not, but Malaysia, it is Islamic country. So if you're going, it has to be halal.
Yes, thank you.
In Singapore, you don't have this question, but at the same time, because it has so many orangers, or it is very multinational, that you may have some different issues there, but here it's most important, it has to be halal. Our products today are not. We have to think how to overcome it. Also, Malaysia, I think that there is there are some different islands, or it is quite a lot surrounded by the sea. So when we were checking for these events and etc., we thought, okay, it is just 2 centimeters of water, and when we zoomed in, took a Google map, and it was 300 kilometers from one distance to another. So it's not so easy to cover. And one more thing, if you are checking the Asia, it is something like you're saying that you're going to the United States, and go and visit Los Angeles, and I'm in New York, and it's like it is 6 hours of flight. When we were sending our stuff once not in this program, we were sending in Singapore, and our CEO told, oh, you're already in Asia, go and visit Seoul. And this person came back and, come on, it is 6 hours. It is not like that you will go and visit and you will come back. No. The distances are very, very big, actually. There will be a theoretical part. It will be in the guidebook, and we also give some of our own practical tips. What we have, actually, what Justin has seen, not me. This is my second time to see this presentation. Yesterday was the last time. I wasn't supposed to talk about this one, but my question to you, or actually what you have to ask from yourself is that what is your business model? Do you want to license out your product? In our case, we have probiotic strains. We can just give your license and, okay, you would like to use them, no problem. We will just want to have a normal fee for it. Are you willing to sell your products under a private label? Despite that Greentex is like a really good, really big company in Latvia, if you're going to Asian scale, or if you're taking any company in Baltics and you're going to Asian scale, it is, I wouldn't say it is a small company, but at least medium-sized company, maybe. Or maybe you want to sell your own product under your own brand or under your own label. Do you also have some additional service which is backing up this product? That's why they should start buying from you. Because they have, if you're, this should be from Vitafood from this year. On this fair, there were a lot of distributors wanted, so everyone can produce, but it is extremely hard to sell, especially if you're located in Europe and you want to sell it to Asia, and most of you, like us, are not even medium, but small companies. And this is something which you should start. It will be also in this guidebook, but someone also had photographed the prices in Singapore. Who was it? So, yes, you had. So basically, you can have some kind of preliminary price information, and you can make some kind of roadmap. But okay, where we are located. Are we most expensive, the cheapest? You can't be cheapest because India is the cheapest, but maybe you are most expensive because you almost come from Scandinavian countries. How is the quality? The shipping, we are thinking that maybe we can sell directly on a web shop, but we have to understand that it takes almost 2 months if you are not using like planes to ship. Is a customer willing to wait so long? Maybe you're going to have a warehouse somewhere in Singapore or Malaysia. Do you customize your orders? Are you small or big enough you can handle it? Are you small enough you can handle it? And are you big enough you still want to do it? In our case, we are dealing or working with probiotic bacteria, but what is the amount of active ingredient? Is it 10 billions, 5 billions, 2 billions, hundreds of millions? Because also, I think it's the same in Estonia and Latvia. If you're going to shop, most of the customers are looking at price for a kilogram. Here it can be said, okay, maybe our price is 3 times cheaper, but actually the amount is 2 times cheaper. Maybe we can increase our price. What is the shelf life? It was very well brought out that the room temperature in Europe and the room temperature in Asia are different. And also we have to run new shelf life tests because we don't have data for 30 or 35 degrees, and also the humidity is different. What is the worm you are selling? Do you have all certificates? We don't have halal yet. We have to start working on it. Actually, Justin's working on it, but still. And again, something which is already being covered, but it is harder to enter as a food supplement as a food. Something also really important is that it is very good that you know what clients need today, and you all have had phone brand Nokia in the past. Today, no one is having. Is someone having a still Nokia?
Yes.
So basically, you have to keep in mind that what the clients actually need during the next 5 years or 10 years, because Nokia didn't saw it, and today only 2 of you have a Nokia, and rest have Samsung or iPhone or etc. So try to figure out what the clients need, how your product is answering to his needs, and where a customer wants to have a product during the next 5 years. One very big thing is also organic ingredients, something in the dietary supplements. I think also Estonian and Latvian program brought out this wild candy, which is also organic, or they want to be organic, I think. And also the price doesn't have to keep rising always, it can also drop in. Sorry. And because we are talking about dietary supplements and pharmaceutical supplements and medicine prescriptions, but research and development cycles are really long. In our case, usually, we started something like 10 years ago developing our probiotic strains, and now we are in the stage where we can start selling and licensing out. So we have to see what the customers want in the future. You can also use, if you don't know what the local market demands, my suggestion is that don't start with Asian countries. If it's going to be your first export country, stay in Europe.
I don't agree.
It is my very personal, very subjective, not objective. But first, start with your neighbors, or start maybe some like countries which are easy to reach, which are not located very far from us. Countries where it is easier to visit. And if you feel that you want to go to Asia, try to use the locals. So basically, there are like embassies, and there are also these
Honorary consuls.
Honorary consuls who you can ask sometimes, and who are usually maybe a bit bored in their life, and they want to help companies.
But just one question. I want to ask why Linda said that she didn't agree on starting close by. That why she would go to Asia or distant markets at first.
Because these markets grow faster. It means that it's more easy to go in. I don't mean Singapore or Malaysia. I mean that all the Southeast Asia region.
But are you?
If you have, of course, it's need additional investments, and you need additional money for to go Southeast Asia market. But in any case, you can give back money faster from these regions than Europe.
But you are saying it in a perspective of Greentex or from perspective of SME, who is a very limited budget?
It's very hard to say for which perspective, but in any case, I think that money go faster because I have also experience with small companies, and in Europe a lot of probiotics, a lot of all products. This is a full markets, and it's harder and harder to go to find some unique. At this moment, Malaysia is more open for all European products, and we go with brand made in Europe, in EU. In Europe, you go with made in Estonia. Then instead of use the company which say made in Germany with German traditions. Where is it more easy to? From my point of view, it's easy to go on Malaysia. Of course, it's a long distance, but if you good and trustful partner, and of course the partner is very important.
Okay, in that
mine.
case,
So send Justin more to Malaysia and Singapore and reach that market.
so this is relevant. Something which it comes to, or finding like a good partner, and what we are thinking at the moment is that there is this kind of program in Estonia called ISAC. So basically you can hire a university student for your company from this country where you want. So maybe we are gonna hire some from Malaysia who is already doing, let's say, master in a business. He will come, we will employ him, keep here about a year, we will pay a salary, and when we are sending him back or her back, he knows the local traditions, maybe he has some local network, and this is something which we are going to test. I can't recommend to do it, but this is just one possibility to have some local.
I can recommend, because I'm ISIC alumni.
You can?
I am ISIC alumni myself, so I can recommend it.
Okay.
I was in ISIC for 5 years. It's a worldwide organization, so I definitely, it's like high level.
Okay. Of course, it's going to take some time.
For sure, yes.
Because, yes?
What about hiring some freelancer from local markets?
Because he knows the market much better than anyone from
the language,
much easier, much faster will be able to develop.
But you mean a freelancer from the same country?
Yes.
But usually they are much more expensive. And if you don't have like money to enter all of the markets at the same, you can make some priorities and you can start. Okay, in 3 years we are gonna enter to Singapore market. Today this person is coming, he's gonna stay 1 year in our company, we'll get to know all of our aspects, we will send him back and...
You have solution. You can go this 5 years to work with these students from, for example, from Malaysia, and during this time you go to in Europe to sell the products. You have enough money and
Yes.
together with a ready customer or employee to go on Malaysia.
This is something...
It's also as one of the options. Why not?
I can tell you that this freelancer in United States costs about 400 euros in 1 hour.
Very expensive one, I would say.
It's expensive, yes.
And something what we are missing or were missing is that what is our export potential in how much time do we have? But what is export potential in your company? But who
You have
are-
still 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Benefits aren't arrived yet. So.
but who is gonna be the teams of export? Like I said, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a scientist, and scientist is not the best salesperson. I can give some credibility because I know a lot of the topic, but I don't like this aggressive sale, and I don't know how to close the deal. So I need to have someone on my side, and I want to be next to someone who knows how to do it. Maybe you have already a very good partner, like Linda said. If you have a great local partner, then I think it's easier to leave it to him or her. What is our target markets? Which kind of intellectual property we are bringing to a project, and all of these questions, and all it is going to be on this guideline, which is being prepared during this Hiadex. There should be at least 2 documents. One is market overview of dietary supplements. I think it is something like 130 or 40 pages long. So it says that in which chains or in which channels the sales are being done, how it is growing, which is this decreasing, do you have to have prescriptions, all this kind of general data what you have to have. Which are optimal price ranges, which is the most most often is sold package size, and all this kind of data. The second document should be like this, and if you know all the background and you're starting to work out your own marketing strategy. In our case, because we are already using some contracting, also the question is that I had question in Boston, but one Turkish company came and asked, okay, we would like to have 500,000 capsules, can you produce it? We were 500,000, I don't remember if we have even sold this big amount in the past. So how we are going to scale up if there's going to be a big customer? We don't have a big production facility, but we already have a subcontracting. So
problem, yeah, very small companies.
And also,
because,
like,
if we go to for such big markets, from one day we need to be ready to produce in a million capsules also, and then 1.5 million, and so on. It's also sometimes a problem. Yeah, you're right.
So here is this is Justin. This is Vaida.
Yep. Plus minus dress code is okay.
It's
Yes, you know how to check it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember her name.
Data Harvans.
Tata Harvans.
Yes.
it's your
The honorary consul of Estonia in Malaysia. A really good all-around guy, suitable, let's say, for certain target segments and certain industries, because he can open some doors in some government establishments, but not in all of them. So you need to have specific partners. You can't usually have the golden egg that every or one single person can open all doors for you. It's a nice dream, but doesn't happen.
And actually, you should also, Latvians should also have this some kind of person, honorary counselor, because Justin said that yours is better than ours. So expectation, this is now something which this market breach guidebook should start containing. Just a very short overview for you. It will be ready in 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks you can send very urgent requests for Vaido, and Vaido can start like distributing it. It should be free.
Yeah, I will reply to you in a, maybe not exactly like Enterprise Estonia replies, that I will process your request within 28 working days. So perhaps I will process it faster. So, but feel free to contact me, and it will be made available. Yeah.
Yes, so it will include some pre-filled market information, some workbooks, some export strategies, some plans, some budget. So it will be quite general, because it has to fit for all of you in some extent. Of course, we could make it only for ourselves, but it would be quite pointless for you. In the same time, we can't spread it too wide, because in that case there's nothing you can use. And in total there should be 13 chapters. First 4, you should work really hardly on these ones, and when you have finished, you should think that, do you still want to enter this market? This is a self-check. Are we ready to go? And if you are saying that, if you don't see it, don't go. Try to see where are your weaknesses. It also contains some basic SWOT analysis. Do your SWOT, see where are your basically threats, where are your opportunities, etc. And later, maybe after half a year or a year, if you're seeing that, okay, now this one is okay, let's start working with these ones. Because you are only wasting your time and your money.
Just as a comment, this is exactly the assumption with what we started the project. And then if you remember my first slide, what happened. And Justin is a great example, and BioCC is a great example, as I said, that the first time I kind of had to beg that they would come. The second time, Andre had to send his young disciple that, Justin, now you have worked for 2 weeks. If you want to survive, you have to go. And the third time, actually, they came to me and said that, Vaido, please, can we go? And then I had to work so that they could go. So sometimes the opposite approach works as well. Not always. Sometimes you could burn a lot of money, but if it's their money, I'm happy to burn it. So,
yes, because if you're going, it will take minimum 1 week of your time if you don't consider money. If you're sending someone out, the senior staff, first he or she, it is going to be 2 weeks before you're going. You have to prepare everything for this week when you're off, and when you're coming back, it's usually going to take 2 weeks to get to
get back on track, let's say, to put out all the fires. That this is the issue that Estonian and Latvian companies are quite often facing, that we have limited human resource available, that we don't have those 100 million people that we could put everybody to do different tasks.
So we have Justin, and he's he's very enthusiastic. He's never saying no, and this is this kind of attitude that what we want to see in our young staff.
Life will make its corrections.
And 2 days ago we hired a very young marketing manager. So at the moment everything is going really well. All of the companies already have some kind of products they want to export. Okay, very good. So this is not for you?
I'm sorry, I have a question. Do you really need to establish a special entity in local market?
In these countries, it is, I understand, really highly recommended.
Okay. But
I think Linda also...
In Asia, some countries demand that you invest in your local entity at least $100,000, for example, in South Korea. if you, as a foreign entrepreneur, would like to start business there? No? Yes? Maybe?
I not to recommend start with
South Korea.
no. In South Korea, as I say, it's better to arrange joint ventures.
Okay.
But in Malaysia and Singapore, I think that you can start through local distributor.
Okay, I see. You don't need your...
I think no.
Okay.
It's a little bit market specific. In Indonesia, they have requirements
Yeah,
that
it's
you
the
should
same
have a
Indonesia,
local entity that
local
you cannot
entity is
even
perfect.
enter the
Yeah.
market otherwise.
It depends from which South Asia region we discuss.
Because, for example, in Estonia, or maybe even in Latvia, you can set up company without even equity, basically, just from zero, or with a very small amount of equity. But in Asia, I guess you need to heavily invest before you start.
In Asia, maybe I not to say during my presentation, it's very good situation that if you, of course, always if you find good partner,
Okay.
but these partners usually operate. There is they have regulatory service, they have marketing support, they have representative officer representatives which cover more or less region, and they have wholesaler.
Okay,
Stocks.
wholesaler, yeah, I see.
That is all in one.
Okay, for one markup, basically. What's the markup then?
And they cover not only, for example, RX, they cover full range of healthcare products, starting from medical device till the food supplements.
Okay.
There is no such thing that only they operate with medicine. They cover.
Okay.
It's my experience.
Okay, and well, for last, I skipped some slides because I'm absent of time a bit, and also because you are taking some of my time, but I don't mind. Is that first, when you are going, you are gonna burn money, but there are gonna be a lot of costs, traveling, registering. I understand that you also have to buy a shelf, or basically a shelf, some kind of part of it, and it all costs, and you have to check that. Do you have enough to run, actually to start to have a business? But maybe first 1 or 2 years you just have to visit. It is gonna be this flirting, and I like you and you like me, but we don't trust each other yet.
Yeah, but this also is very important. Yeah, thank you for this information. If you visit first time, it's a first introduction thing. It doesn't mean that something happened. If you visit second time or third time, just only after this, I have some reliable clients which when we meet each other, we smile and in which way?
But it is going to require money. We had this opportunity to participate in a program, and it covered quite a lot of our costs on traveling. Of course, we have to make a lot of work back home to keep these contacts, but when Justin was going to Singapore the second time, he could already send out some letters that, okay, I'm going to be in Singapore. If you want to meet us, please come. We will have some place to talk, maybe a little bit. Or you can use your company LinkedIn profile or some social media channels. Because we want to see that you are not going to be just a one-day butterfly who came, gave a lot of promises and disappeared. But if it's going to be second or third time, you're going to raise your credibility. But it is going to cost, because when we were preparing this, or actually at the moment are preparing this document, one of our staff told a story that there was a small company who was supposed to meet in Abu Dhabi. And when he was in Frankfurt airport changing the plane, he got a text message that I had changed my plans. I can't meet you today. Let's meet in next week. From a partner in Abu Dhabi. So basically, he had to cancel the flight, go back to home, to Estonia, and buy new tickets for next week. So if you don't have this funding, or if you don't have this money, and again, I'm saying this on a perspective of SME, or maybe from this, especially from very like micro companies, that it can take a lot of your cost. And at the end, maybe you have spent 10 or 20 or 30,000 euros, and you're not going to close a deal. So thank you. If you have any questions, I could also show you some pictures which Justin has made in Singapore, but you can find much better from online. So
Does it involve the pictures from karaoke bar?
no, but I have one picture of you drinking a cocktail in a pool.
No, that wasn't me in the karaoke bar. But I also have a picture with Latvian ladies and Justin in karaoke bars.
Okay.
We can do it like the, trade, bartering.
Because there can also, if you're talking about Malaysia, there can be some events which we can't see. But we had just elected a new prime minister in Malaysia, and the next day was given off. I think you had some meetings, but they had to be.
Yeah, we cancelled some meetings
it wasn't
due to elections.
only the next day. It was during one of our business missions, and it falls into the category again that plans meet with reality. That we had beautifully planned trade fair and going to Malaysia and had pre-arranged business meetings. But in Malaysia were elections and the ruling party was overthrown after 50 years of being on power, and the newcomers decided that this is a worthy event of a full-scale celebration, which means that like 2 or 3 days were given off like national holidays, which means that all meetings were cancelled automatically. Everybody was partying for 3 days. Of course, we had bought tickets, booked accommodation, everything. So it's like, okay, now we are here and everybody is on holiday. It's okay. Good luck
From
for
one
you.
side is okay, but from other side.
Yeah, but it was same here. But when the Pope was visiting,
You
but
need
in
to be ready for such.
In Latvia, you had a day off. In Estonia, nothing changed.
Well,
You're just working.
Closer to Malaysia.
Estonia officially is also the most unreligious country in the world. So that's a fact.
So if you have any questions, I will write them down and send to Justin. And now you can ask also from me.
Regarding this social media in Asia, I know that they don't use Facebook, they don't use LinkedIn usually. What kind of social media channels you need in order to make follow-ups later?
If follow-ups, you are going to have an email for follow-up.
Yeah, I know, but they have this business LinkedIn and they have a different Facebook.
I have no idea, to be honest. But I still think that they are mostly using Facebook.
They use maybe in China not use Facebook. They have
WeChat or something.
WeChat
is in China. Yeah.
But still,
but in Malaysia,
for business.
they all use WhatsApp. They like very
WhatsApp
WhatsApp.
and the
First question: do you use WhatsApp? Yes. And you start.
WhatsApp was really widely used, which is actually a little bit ironic because it's owned by Facebook, but okay.
Yeah. Not in China.
No, China is a different
China is a
beast.
totally different world.
All right.
But one thing that was visible, and I don't know if you have managed to check this, but it was also on one of your slides that in future they will be looking more for organic or more healthier eco products, and this a little bit resonates with the health pyramid which you described in event in Tartu, that there is like a theoretical pyramid how a person should eat or how he should consume medicine, and it should consist of certain amount of fruits and vegetables, and Andre knows much better about it, and then there is a reality how it looks.
Well, the pyramid that Paido is trying to describe is that the average person should consume around 2,000 kilocalories. And there is a pyramid which describes that how many calories he or she should get from each category. How much from cereals, how much from fruit, how much from dairy products, meat, etc. And there's this very top which is saying that about 5% of kilocalories should come from sweets. From chocolate, from I don't know, sugar, etc. But the truth actually is a bit different. But most of us eat more sweets than we need. And I think Vaido is trying to say that there's something that people want to have in the future, but they don't know how we're going to have it in the future. Am I correct?
It somehow resonates with me that, as you said, that they want actually the medicine to taste good, and it's like whether it's not easy to use but it should actually taste good. And this was also actually what you asked when about your products regarding the porridges, I believe. What was the exact question? That how many healthy foods do we know what taste good?
Oh yes, I was giving, like I said, my background is actually science, and it is food science. And the question was that we helped our partners to develop functional porridges. Do you know what porridge is? Most of you know. Okay, very good. And if you take a normal porridge, you don't think that it's not possible to innovate it. Come on, it's a porridge. You can also take a sand and try to innovate sand, but this porridge, we managed to do it. We had a really good partner. We just started a TV commercial in Estonia. But yes, my question was that quite often something that tastes good is unhealthy. And what is healthy, it tastes like it is healthy. But you can understand from a taste that it has to be extremely healthy.
By the title.
In our case, because we have a dietary supplement, you have it in capsule, you don't feel taste like in most of the medicines. Someone was also developing or having dietary supplements somewhere on the second table.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I feel a taste when I'm tasting it or when I'm taking it?
No, you don't, but we have in different forms like choops or taps where you can taste, or in syrup or balsams where you can taste the product. But usually when you're having like dietary supplement in a form of capsule, you do not taste. But sometimes there is some reaction like because of the fish oil. It could make the taste that is not very good. But that's
especially if it is a liver oil.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
All right, but I see that the benefits, which hopefully taste a little bit better as healthy products, are being served, or at least have arrived to some extent. So thank you, Andre. And let's give you a warm applause. And I did taste some of their porridges, and then they did taste better as healthy products. So hopefully they will be available in different markets, also in different countries. And actually, I do have something which tastes good and is definitely healthy for you as well.
So basically, you took it from Tartu to Riga, and now I'm taking it back to Tartu.
Yes. This is how business is being made. That's the turnover, you know. That's the export turnover.
Import-export.
Import-export, yeah. That we need to do the trade cooperation. Thank you for those who have managed to stay with us until the very end. You have definitely earned the rewards now and the benefits. All presentations will be available at Tartu Science Park website and also in Lakifa's website, I hope. And so you can contact either me or Raina or Linda if you want to get the presentations and the guidebook and the cost estimations later on. That's it for me for today. So hopefully we can enjoy some of the drinks and continue some of the interesting questions about what is healthy and tastes good.
I have a question, Vaido.
Yes.
You mentioned that you want to focus some Asian countries in the next Hiadex round.
Starting from next year, we are most likely going back to Southeast Asia and potentially China. Yes, again. Since the signatures are not yet written down, Andrus, who is my board member, hasn't given the signature yet.
Okay.
But if it will be given, then I will go and knock on Justin's door.
Very good.
Okay, thank you, everybody.